guys, welcome back to another episode of the Tio Show. We are back after a little bit of a break here, but we are back with another awesome guest with us here this week. But guys, hey, if you guys have forgot to, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. But we're going to continue to bring you guys guests every other week. I think we're going to have some awesome guests, some awesome new perspectives from different schools. And so let's dive into things. This week, we have William & Mary quarterback Darius Wilson with us. Darius, what's going on, man?
What's up, man? I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
No problem. You're a stud, so we had to at least get you on and let the people know a little bit about you, Darius. But Darius, as we dive into things here, tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of a little bit about your path to William & Mary.
Yeah, so I'm originally from New York City, the Bronx area. I always grew up around football in general. Like my dad ran a youth football organization, like in a league. So like I've been around it since I was basically born, essentially. And like at first I really wouldn't play football just because as a kid, like you go against everything like your dad liked. So like my dad was a Giants fan. So I was like, dang, I don't like the Giants. So like just because he was doing it, I didn't want to do it at first. But eventually I tried it out, played flag football. I was like, dang, this is really fun. And so like eventually I just gave it and I did it. And like I was okay. Like I was never like really good playing youth football. Like I would say I was an average player at best. And then I got into high school and like freshman year, still pretty average to good. And then my sophomore year is really when I took off and like I just became really good. Like I was never bad before, but it was more of like this kid's good. Like he's nothing special. Like he was just playing high school. And then sophomore year, I became like really good. And people were like, dang, he can play D1. And that's actually when I got my first offer, which was William & Mary in my sophomore year. And then after that, played junior year, played really well there too. Got a couple more offers after that, like FCS offers. And we had COVID year, so I couldn't really take many visits. And so I just ended up picking William & Mary just because like it fit everything I was looking for personally.
Awesome stuff. How did you not end up being a basketball player from the Bronx and from the city? We've had a couple of teammates up in Albany who are from the city, and they talk about like riding the train or the bus to find practice time and stuff like that, just because there's not a lot of places that have like actual football fields in the city. But you're like tall, lengthy kid. How did you not end up like as a basketball player? How'd you end up as a quarterback?
I'll tell you what, before I started playing football, actually, I was like 6 years old and like I was playing basketball. Like I was a basketball player for like up until that point in my life. And it was like, how in the summer you go like the AAU circuit.
Yeah.
And for the entire I was like 7 years old. My entire summer I sat on the bench, and that ruined basketball for me for the rest of my life. I was like, I'm never playing this again. And so I was like, that's why I started playing football. And it's because like I just sat on the bench. The coach was like, yeah, you're not good enough. And I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm done with this. So that's why I don't play basketball. But yeah, like youth football, we had to like practice at a public park. It wasn't a football field. It was just a big plot of grass. And then like for games, the coaches would line the field. Like it wasn't a football field. And like I would have to take the train like 20, 25 minutes from my house to go practice and play.
Well, in high school, was it something similar where you guys had to go? Did you guys have a field or did you guys have to travel?
Yeah, luckily
I know a lot of the inner city kids have to go find and share spaces.
Yeah, luckily for high school, I didn't go to high school in the city. I went in like kind of like upstate New York and like Westchester. So up there, there's significantly more space to like build things like football fields. So I went to a Catholic school up there, so we had our own field, which is cool.
That's sweet. What made you kind of want to go to a prep school or a private school? Was it just a better opportunity? Felt better opportunities for yourself or being able to go, D1?
Yeah, it was definitely that. Like, it's significantly better opportunities when you go to like a Catholic school, like especially in New York itself, because like there really isn't many good high schools for football in general. So like if you go to a public school, it's hard to get like recognition there. Like some people do if you're really good, but it's significantly easier if you go to one of those like private like Catholic schools because the coaches have connections, they know coaches. And also my high school coach also coached my older brother, so I already knew him pretty well, so that helped.
Sweet. What advice would you give to like anybody in the city who's looking, to play not necessarily Division I football, but college football?
I would just say like be realistic with yourself. Like don't look at like what I did was like I looked at rosters and like see like what fit my measurables really. And so I was like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna go like super duper high for like Alabama. Like I'm not that super big. I'm not super athletic, so that's probably not gonna happen. But like I feel like if you're more realistic with yourself, then you're able to target like the right schools for you, go to the right camps, and get like the right coaches to see you. Because like if you're like a 5'8" receiver and don't run a 4.4, 4.3, then you're not going to get an offer from like Syracuse. Like it makes more sense to go to like a FCS camp or like a lower division camp to get recognized.
Quick question: are people sleeping on football in New York high
Oh,
school?
what a doubt. I feel like we have a lot of good football players. Like it's especially at, like the Catholic schools and some of the public schools in like Brooklyn. Like there's really good players there, but like I feel like the average player is probably like worse than like some other areas. But like I feel like we have really good players. Like we have a bunch of D1 people, at least at my high school and other Catholic schools.
So you guys, so if you aren't familiar, anybody's watched or listening or watching, New York has like two different leagues. There's a public school and a private school. So were you how good were you guys in high school in the private league?
Oh, we were really good. In my high school, I only lost one varsity game ever. Sadly, it was a playoff game, but
Oh,
I only lost one.
so you got
Varsity
one state chip or two?
on any because we lost in the playoffs my junior year, and then my
Oh,
senior year
geez.
we
Oh,
didn't
you
get
didn't play. You didn't play. That
yeah.
sucks. Who'd you guys lose to? So in high school I played Canisius.
Mm-hmm.
And we played like Canisius, Buffalo, St. Joe's. We
Mm-hmm.
were supposed to play Aquinas and Rochester, but we didn't end up. Their game got canceled or something. Our game got canceled or something.
Yeah, we lost to Carlin Hayes, which is in the Bronx. Actually, it's a Catholic school in the city. But I actually played Canisius my senior year, and we killed them by like 40. I
They
scored. I
used to
scored.
be
Like,
really good.
yeah, and I
Back
scored.
in my day, it's not that far. They had like two or three Division One kids. We were pretty good. Our team had a bunch of Division One kids on our team, and they were really good. They had like a really good quarterback. I think they had like Paul Woods. I think he was at Rutgers. I don't know where he's at now, but he was a pretty good player. Yeah, it was crazy. Did you guys did you play Joey Carino at all?
Oh yeah, I played with my junior year, and my junior year, he went to 7-9. We went to rival school, so that was a really good game. We won on like we won, we scored. So what happened was we were like the 25. We got the ball back. It's like a minute left, and we ran a hook and ladder for like 80 yards.
Wow.
And we didn't score, but like we got down there and scored, and then the 2-point conversion, we ran like a jet sweep, and I kept it. I ran up the middle, and I go to like stretch the ball out, and like they punch it out on like the one, and my receiver's just standing by himself in the end zone and picks it up, and we win the game.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Good
it
game.
was,
Good game. Shout out to Joey Carino. I had him on the TO show. He's awesome. Go check out that episode with Joey. Joey's doing well at Albany. He's a stud as well, just like this guy sitting next to me. But let's talk about college. Let's talk about that transition. Switch gears here. Talk about that transition from you talked about you had the COVID year, whatever. It's kind of just weird, especially in New York, just a bunch of the COVID regulations and stuff like that. But you had early success, playing your true freshman year, winning, pretty much rookie of the year in the CAA. What helped you kind of transition to that game, especially being a young quarterback, not knowing a lot, but also, you got a whole playbook, all these other things. What advice can you give to young quarterbacks coming in and having early success?
yeah, I feel like it's about effort, and like so me, I already knew like I'd have a chance to play, so it gave me more incentive to like study the playbook.
Yeah.
So but I really think is studying the playbook because like you're not going to get many opportunities like when you first get to camp to like show what you can do. So those 2-3 reps you get like the first 2 weeks, you gotta prove that you know what you're doing. And so that's what I did. I just showed them that I know what I'm doing. I understood the plays. So it was basically just studying the playbook all day. Like I would be outside and I would like do all the plays on air, and like people would be walking around looking at me like I'm crazy. But like obviously it was worth it and it helped. And another thing is just to have confidence, because at the end of the day, football is football. Like it's all the same. Like you're not going to see anything you've never seen before for the most part. Like it's just you're throwing the ball. Like you've always done that, and then It's just about just have confidence in yourself.
Yeah, I think that's key. I think as freshmen, you kind of get told that almost not to be confident,
Yeah.
but you got to have confidence in yourself because nobody else is going to have confidence in you at this level. There's nobody going to tell you that, oh, you're good. Like you should be doing this. You need, especially as a true freshman, you know, you need to have that internally. I think that's really huge. But let's talk a little bit about if you had to do it over again,
Mhm.
what would you do differently as a true freshman, knowing that what you know now?
As a true freshman, what would I do differently?
What would you do differently if you knew what you knew now? I mean, it was a little different
Yeah.
because there's still like COVID was still kind of regular, still kind of around. There's a bunch of weird stuff, but um, what would you do different if you
I
had?
would probably just keep the confidence I had at the beginning of the year into the end of the year. Because like towards the end of the year, like I didn't like we started playing harder teams, and when that comes, like you start seeing stuff you haven't really seen before, like different blitzes and like they disguise coverages more. And so like when you like don't see like the success you were seeing before, you start to doubt yourself a little bit. So I would just like tell myself like, yeah, just stay the course. You know what you're doing. What you're seeing is right, and just play football.
What do you think from a quarterback standpoint is different from like college defense, or just even college football in general, so at least
Mhm.
from a quarterback position than high school?
Obviously the first thing it's faster when you first start doing it. It's way faster. And then the other thing is like in high school, the defenses don't really disguise coverages at all.
Yeah.
But like now you get to college, they start doing that. They'll roll the safeties. They'll like have like an outside backer drop into like a cover two look, and like just different blitzes as well, like just stuff you've never seen before.
Yeah, I would agree. I feel like my first college play went so fast. It was like a snap
Yeah,
of fingers. It was over. It was so
yeah,
crazy. I
yeah,
remember my first college snap. It
yeah.
was unbelievably fast. It was almost like, what? The play ended?
Yeah,
It was so crazy.
my first play for training camp, my freshman year was a pick. Actually, like it was a boot, and like I just rolled out and I tried to like throw it like across my body, and like the dude just picked it off. It was
Welcome to college football. I can't do
yeah.
that. Awesome stuff. Awesome. So Darius, the William Mary Tribe have started off the season doing really well, beating an FBS opponent. You were named CAA Player of the Week. What is some big improvements that you've kind of worked on in the offseason coming from your true freshman year to now your true sophomore year?
Yeah, I would just say like consistency of just like my mechanics and just like footwork, like just getting that down pat and just like repping, just doing continuous reps with the same thing over and over again. Because I feel like people have a tendency in the off season to practice so many different things that they don't get really that much better at anything. So what I focused on was just repping like the things I need to work on, whether that was like three, no hitch, or like throwing a specific route. I did a lot of just like a couple of things, and that really like helped me like within our offense just get better.
How much do you think as like a quarterback, how much is in the details you think of like every play of all the little details and having to focus on those?
A lot, like whether it's a motion or a fake, like all those little things can affect like how the defense perceives what you're doing, and just like the little mannerisms, like in your footwork. Like if you're like leaning too far forward, like the ball go down. If you're leaning too far up, the ball go high. So it's about just doing the same thing over and over again with the correct technique, obviously, just to like get like the consistent output that you want.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah, I feel like quarterback is like the most scrutinized, but it's also one of the most rewarding positions, if especially if you
Yeah,
do well at it. Just because all eyes are on you, and you kind of run the ship on the offense, or even the whole team, in some cases. But William Mary had a good first game, beating an FBS opponent. You had a phenomenal game. Pretty much played flawless the entire game, and I think that's really huge. What do you think? What do you think the outlook for the team is, and what's the outlook for Darius Wilson the rest of the season?
I feel like we're like limitless. I feel like we can win every game. Like it's about like not being satisfied. Like I'm not satisfied with just beating an FBS opponent because that's not our end goal. Like that we want to do way more than that. Like I have my individual like goals that I want to do. Like I want to make OCA. I want to win this. I want to win that. But at the end of the day, it's like about the team. Like I can't do that if we don't win, and I want to win damn near more than anybody else. And so it's just about winning every week and just focusing on each team and just keep going, like never be satisfied.
What do you see difference in last year's team of kind of being mediocre and the season's still really early, but we're starting to, you can see that the team's starting to catch a little bit of momentum. What do you see from all angles, at least from your perspective, from being on last year's team to this year's team? Because I agree is that there's a lot of things ahead of us, but what are you noticing, at least off the bat, the differences?
Yeah, I would say we're a hungrier team. Like last game, we were playing Campbell, and we were up 37-21. And like last year, I feel like we were playing them last year. We would have relaxed, not tried to score again, and like we'd have been satisfied with 37-21. But I feel like everybody on the sideline, on the offense and the defense, was like pushing for more, pushing to score again, pushing to stop them again. And like there was never like a relaxing period where like, oh yeah, we won this game, it's over, and we took our foot off the gas. I feel like this team's a really hungry team.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Let's change a little bit of gears here. Kind of as you come in as a freshman, you're kind of not relied on as a leader at all, just because you're swimming. You're just trying to figure stuff out constantly. As a quarterback position, it's important, not necessarily ultra important, but it's has its roles in being a leader on the team. How has Darius kind of evolved from that standpoint of being a leader from year one to year two? Because you're still really young, but how is that kind of maturity? But also you're kind of, as you're starting to figure out yourself, your kind of leadership style. How are you leading?
Yeah, like last year, I felt like you can't really say much as a freshman because you got guys like, you don't feel like you can say anything. You got guys who are like 24 years old, and I was like 17 at the time. I was like, they're not going to listen to me, like, and I haven't done anything yet. So it's about getting like that respect from the team, and I feel like this year I had that. So like I don't really talk. I'm not like a big talker kind of guy, but like in the huddle, like I'll say some words. I'll get like a little bit hype in the huddle. Like I feel like the guys respect me and they listen to me, and I try to just be like the calming force on the team. Like if anything's hectic, if I'm calm, I know everybody else will be calm. I try to relax guys and just like keep everybody even keeled.
Awesome. What have you noticed in leadership on the team that you think that has made a big difference? Because this is one of the better it has a really interesting mix of like younger and older players. What do you think is the difference in leadership when it came from this year to last year?
I'd say the leadership is like, I feel like it's more of this. I feel like it's like similar. I feel like it's a really similar thing. I don't think the leadership has changed. I feel like it's more everybody else has changed because they saw like everybody else saw what we could be last year. Like we were 6-2 and we lost our last 3 games. I feel like everybody else saw what we could be. And so like everybody's more bought in than like it was a change of leadership. It's more like everybody else has like sees what like the captaincy, they see the end goal that we can achieve if we like push ourselves and like don't get satisfied for where we're at.
I would not being on last year's team, but I can see that from everyone else 100%. So, looking to hopefully do well this year, still a long season. We got a lot ahead of us. But let's switch gears here, Darius, as we wrap things up. What do you like to do in your free time? What does Darius do in his free time?
My free time, well, I like to cook. Like, I like to make steak a lot. Like I made steak like 3 times this week and last week. What are you putting on that steak?
What are you putting on that steak?
You got just regular salt, get some herbs like rosemary, thyme. You get the butter on it, you baste it. I enjoy stuff like that. I love watching like cooking videos. I love food.
Chef in the making, Chef Darius in the making.
Potentially.
Awesome. Do you have like a grill, or are you like using like a George Foreman or something? What do you? I
like a little pan that I like sear it in.
Oh,
yeah.
So are you like to sear it, or do you like to, if you can, grill it?
I would like to grill. I've never grilled it. I want to try it though. I really do.
Game changer, I think, in my opinion. Get the charcoal on there.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of steak, what other big things are you making for yourself?
What else am I making? I started making like this short rib, like like ragu type of meal. Like I started
When do you have time to make this stuff?
like in the summer. I was making it in the summer. I was like, because like I had so much free time in the summer, like just from when we weren't working out. Like I would be on Instagram like looking at things. I'm like, I have time, might as well try to do that. And like I made this short rib like ragu thing, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
Yeah, you might have to make the offensive line some food. Yeah, I don't know. Now that this is out,
Why not?
You might have to have them over. You might have to have them over and make some of that short ribs, or make them just a bunch of steaks or something. That's gonna be a pretty bill at the grocery store if you're gonna get all those steaks for those.
That's a lot of dudes. Some big dudes.
Oh, we got some big dudes on the team. Awesome, Darius. Is there anything else, Darius, you want to say to the viewers as we wrap things up here?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem, Darius. Guys, go check out Darius. We'll throw his Instagram in the description below. Look out for his name. Like I said, he's already freaking made CAA Player of the Week. Darius is good, man. He's got a lot ahead of him, a lot of talent. We're excited to see what Darius can do this season, and we'll be watching you, and from wherever we are, hopefully catching some more passes later from you. But let's go.
Yes, sir.
Awesome stuff. All right, guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. And thank you, Darius, for coming on. It was a pleasure having you on. Until next week, peace, guys.